70 years after World War II ended, Japan and Russia are still trying to sign a peace treaty. Persistent bone of contention. The Kuril Islands, seized by Soviet troops in a bloody amphibious landing after Japan announced it was ready to surrender. But how and why did the Soviets seize the Kurils in the first place? The Kuril Islands, also known as Tsushima or the Northern Territories in Japan, are a chain of 56 volcanic islands stretching 810 miles from the northeastern Japanese island of Hokkaido to Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. Originally populated by the indigenous Ainu people, the archipelago began receiving Japanese administration during the 17th century under the Tokugawa shogunate. The Japanese began encountering Russian explorers traveling southward after the settlement of the Kamchatka Peninsula in the 18th century. In 1855, Edo Japan and Imperial Russia signed a treaty in which the former claimed the southernmost islands, Kunashir, Iturup, Shikotan and the Habomai Islands, while Europe Island and everything north of it went to Russia. Then an 1875 treaty gave Japan all the Kurils, in exchange for Russia gaining all of Sakhalin, a large island to the west. You can see a map of the island treaties here. Recommended. North Korea has 200,000 soldiers in its special forces. Recommended. Why doesn't America kill Kim Jong-un? Recommended. 1.2 million casualties if North Korea attacked Los Angeles with a nuclear weapon. However, after Japan dealt a shocking defeat to the Tsar's forces in 1905, Tokyo got full control of the Kurils as well as the southern half of Sakhalin. In subsequent decades, the Japanese government built up towns, administrative services and infrastructure across the remote islands. Thousands of ethnic Japanese began settling there to fish and mine valuable minerals. The Japanese carrier task force that bombed Pearl Harbor actually assembled off Iturup Island, profiting from the persistent fogs for concealment. The islands would soon become a target themselves, causing Japan to deploy fighters and 2 infantry divisions to protect its northern flank. After U.S. forces repelled the Japanese invasion of Alaska, B-25 and B-24 bombers began striking the distant islands in 1943 and 1944, with limited success. Fuel-starved bomber crews sometimes landed in Soviet territory seeking assistance, but were always interned, as Moscow had signed a neutrality pact with Tokyo in 1938. That was something Washington was keen to change, as it contemplated the possibility of a bloody invasion of the Japanese home islands. At the Yalta Conference in February 1945, an ailing Roosevelt got Stalin to promise that once Nazi Germany was defeated, the Soviet Union would break the Neutrality Pact. Stalin stipulated that he would require U.S. military aid, and 3 months to transfer the necessary forces to the east. The Yalta Agreement also bluntly stated, the Kuril Islands shall be handed over to the Soviet Union. After all, the archipelago offered convenient stepping stones for a Soviet's invasion of Hokkaido. Soviet D-Day. Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945. Exactly 3 months later, as promised, the Red Army unleashing a massive ground offensive in Manchuria that swiftly demolished the Japanese Kwantung Army, and also secured the southern half of Sakhalin Island. Stunned by the loss of China and the U.S. atomic bombings, Tokyo announced on August 15 that it was ready to surrender, and instructed Japanese troops to cease offensive military operations, and to only fire in self-defense. At the same day, the Soviet Second Far East Front received orders to invade the 2 northernmost Kuril Islands, Shumshu and Paramushiro. Stalin wanted to snatch them before American occupiers arrived. Unlike their Western allies, the Soviets lacked specialized boats for amphibious landings on defended beaches. But under Project Hula, the U.S. secretly transferred 149 ships to the Soviet Navy through Cold Bay, Alaska, and trained 12,000 Soviet personnel how to operate them. This included 30 landing craft infantry, 48-meter-long shallow draft vessels capable of depositing 200 troops directly onto an unprepared beach. The Soviet amphibious fleet eventually mustered 62 ships, including 16 LCIs, to transport 8,821 troops of the 101st Rifle Division and a naval infantry battalion. The landing force lacked tanks, and had only the minesweeper Okosk to provide heavy fire support with its 130mm gun. However, there were 4 130mm shore batteries within range of Shumshu Island on the Kamchatka Peninsula to provide artillery support. In addition, the 128th Composite Aviation Division would assist with 78 warplanes, including 2 regiments of American P-63 Concobra fighters, as well as a mixed regiment of SB-2, EL-4 and A-20 Havoc bombers. Pages